Outlander Season 8 explodes with secrets that no one saw coming. The trailer alone has thrown fans into chaos, and the biggest shock is the voice calling Claire by her married name, Mrs. Fraser. Who is it? How is it possible? And why now, in the final season, are the writers finally pulling the curtain back on Faith, the daughter we thought was lost forever? The fandom is shaking because this is not just a goodbye season. This is a season of resurrection, forbidden truths, and reunions that could rewrite everything we thought we knew about Claire and Jamie's story. The trailer for Season 8 does not hold back. It is ruthless, it is raw, and it is a warning that the very foundations of Outlander are about to be ripped apart. The mystery begins with that haunting call, Mrs. Fraser, echoing like a ghost from another time, and instantly every fan knew this was not some random background voice. This is personal, intimate, shattering. For years we have been haunted by the loss of Faith, Claire and Jamie's first daughter, born still and mourned forever. And now, suddenly, we hear echoes that suggest she may never have been lost at all. Do you understand what that means? If Faith lived, even secretly, then every moment Claire and Jamie carried that grief was built on a lie, and the emotional violence of that truth would destroy them and heal them in the same breath. The trailer even dares to drop subtle hints, the same lullaby, the same name, the connections to Fanny's mother, all tied in one chain that leads back to the child that was supposed to be gone. How can fans not scream at the possibility that Master Raymond, the healer, the man who has always appeared at moments tied to Claire's destiny, had a role in saving Faith? We already know he has the ability to manipulate time, to heal beyond reason, to twist fate itself. So if he intervened, if he took Faith and raised her in shadows, then the whole story shifts. Claire's agony, Jamie's sorrow, Brianna's sense of family, all of it changes. And yet, it is not just the theory of Faith's survival that rattles us. The real chaos comes from what it means for William and Fanny, because if Faith was Fanny's mother, then William has been entangled with his own niece, and that scandal, that revelation, would not just break hearts, it would tear reputations apart and leave permanent scars on a family already drowning in secrets. Think about it. Outlander has always thrived on forbidden love, betrayal, sacrifice, but this is taboo in its purest form. A revelation that would make Jamie question his entire role as a father, a husband, a protector. And what about Claire? The woman who prides herself on truth, on healing, on holding her family together? How does she live with the knowledge that her lost child might have been out there all along, and that by her silence or ignorance, new horrors have taken root? The trailer does not give us answers. It gives us weapons, clues that cut deep, and it is up to us to piece them together. Even the voice calling Mrs. Fraser might not be Faith. It could be Henry, Claire's father, finally breaking through centuries of separation to confront his daughter in the flesh. Remember, blood of my blood planted those seeds. Henry and Julia preparing to escape, a storyline deliberately timed to crash into Outlander's final chapter. What if the voice is not Faith, but Henry, stepping out of time itself, carrying the proof of Claire's own bloodline, rewriting her identity in the final season? But here's the darkest question of all. If Faith truly returns, or if Henry arrives to claim his daughter, will it save Claire and Jamie, or will it doom them both when the truth about family, blood, and betrayal rips them apart before their last battle has even begun? If the trailer has made one thing clear, it is that Season 8 will not let Claire and Jamie escape their destiny. It is coming for them with merciless force, and at the center of this storm stands Faith, not just a name, not just a memory, but the bleeding wound that never healed. Imagine the devastation when Claire begins to connect the dots, when she hears Fanny's song again and realizes it mirrors the lullaby she once whispered to her stillborn baby, when every small sign points to one crushing possibility, that her child lived, but lived without her. How does a mother reconcile that? The fury, the guilt, the rage at time itself would be unbearable. And Jamie who carried the weight of Faith's death on his shoulders, who consoled Claire through nights of endless grief. How does he react when he learns that perhaps their daughter grew up in secrecy and that their love was stolen, not lost? Outlander thrives on emotional carnage, and this is the ultimate test, forgiveness or destruction. But it does not end there, because the voice in the trailer, the chilling Mrs. Fraser, does not come from nowhere. If it is Faith, alive and calling to her mother, then season 8 will confront us with the horror of identity. Who is Faith now? Is she the innocent child Claire once held, or has she grown into a stranger raised by forces Claire cannot control? And if she truly is Fanny's mother, then the family line itself has become corrupted, tangled in ways that threaten to disgrace the Frasers forever. Do you think William, proud, stubborn, determined to prove himself, could ever forgive the truth that he slept with his own kin? That revelation would tear him apart, and Jamie, already at war with destiny, would collapse under the shame. But what if the voice is not Faith at all? What if it belongs to Henry Beauchamp, Claire's father, the man whose existence was only teased in Blood of My Blood? Henry, who may have risked everything to step through the stones with Julia, carrying Claire's brother William as an infant. What if this final season forces Claire to face the parents she lost long ago? Think about that twist. Claire, the woman who has been the daughter, the mother, the grandmother, the healer, would suddenly become the child again, standing in front of the parents who abandoned her life, who watched her from across centuries. The shock of that reunion would be almost unbearable. Would she embrace them or condemn them for letting her grow alone? Would she accept them as family or see them as ghosts intruding on the world she built with Jamie? The stakes are not just emotional, they are catastrophic, because every time someone crosses through the stones, history shifts. If Henry and Julia find Claire, then everything changes. Wars could be undone, bloodlines twisted, the very survival of Brianna, Roger, Ian, Rachel, all placed in jeopardy by one family reunion. And this is where the fury builds, because Claire will not have the luxury of quiet reflection. She will be thrown into battle, torn between saving Jamie from his foretold death at King's Mountain and confronting the family's secrets exploding around her. The trailer shows us Brianna handing Jamie Frank's book, forcing him to confront the prophecy of his own death. Imagine the torment of that moment. Jamie, a man of honor, staring at the page that declares his end, knowing that to walk into that battle is to embrace his fate, but to walk away is to deny the man he has always been. And Claire, her hair now nearly white, standing on the edge of her powers, realizing she may hold the ability to defy death itself with the blue light. How long can she fight destiny before it consumes her too? The trailer teases us with glimpses, but the truth is simple. Jamie will fall, the prophecy will strike, and Claire will be forced to use her powers in ways that will shock even her. But here lies the darker twist. What if bringing Jamie back comes with a price? What if the life of Faith, or the arrival of Henry, or the survival of Brianna's children depends on the choice Claire makes in that moment? Outlander has never given us easy victories, and Season 8 will be no different. Someone will be sacrificed, someone will pay the cost, and the question is who? And so I ask you this. When the battle begins, when the voice calls Mrs. Fraser, when Faith's ghost becomes flesh, will Claire choose her husband, her parents, or her daughter? Or will the cruel hands of fate rip them all away in one final blow? The fury of Outlander Season 8 does not stop at Claire and Jamie. It spreads like wildfire across every character we have come to love, dragging them all into the same storm of betrayal, grief, and impossible choices. The trailer dares us to look closer, to study the faces of Ian, Rachel, Brianna, Roger, even William, and what we see is devastation written in their eyes. No one is safe. No love is untouched, and the cruelest part of all is that the final season is not just about Jamie's fate or Claire's powers. It is about the breaking of every bond that has held this family together for 8 long seasons. The very fabric of the Fraser legacy is being ripped apart thread by thread, and the side stories are no longer distractions. They are daggers driving straight into the heart of the finale. Take Ian and Rachel, perhaps the most underrated yet purest love story in Outlander's history. At the end of Season 7, we saw them happy, radiant with the news that Rachel was carrying Ian's child. It felt like a rare moment of peace in a series defined by endless suffering. But the teaser shattered that illusion instantly. Their faces, no longer glowing with joy, are heavy with sorrow, their bodies bent under a weight the audience can already feel. What happened? The obvious horror that fans whisper about is miscarriage, and yes, the loss of that child would gut them both, tearing Ian apart in ways we cannot imagine. Ian, the warrior, the survivor, the man who has already carried scars of love lost with Emily, How many times can he lose before he breaks completely? Rachel, who stood strong beside him, who gave him hope and a future, would be crushed too, and together they would stumble in despair. But let us not forget what Outlander loves to do. It misleads us. It lures us into expecting one tragedy while delivering another far darker. What if it is not miscarriage at all? What if their sorrow in the trailer comes from something more sinister? What if Rachel's life is in danger? What if childbirth itself becomes the battlefield, leaving Ian to face the same torment Jamie once did with Claire, praying for the survival of both wife and child, knowing he may lose them both in one cruel night? This is Outlander, the series that gives no guarantees, the series that feasts on heartbreak. And there is another possibility, darker still. What if Rachel gives birth, but the child is taken? Kidnapped, lost in the chaos of war, or perhaps even entangled in the twisted fate of Faith's bloodline. If Fanny was truly Faith's daughter, then every child born into this generation is caught in the spiral of that cursed truth, and Ian and Rachel's baby could become the next pawn in the battle between destiny and survival. Can you even imagine Ian, who has spilled blood for less, finding out that his newborn has been stolen, perhaps to protect the timeline, perhaps to silence the truth? His fury would shake the mountains. His grief would make him ruthless. And Rachel, with her quiet strength, would be forced into choices that could damn them both. And then there is Brianna and Roger, the modern couple ripped apart and sewn back together by time, destiny, and desperation. At the end of season 7, we felt relief seeing them reunited, but that relief has already curdled into dread. The trailer shows them clutching one another in terror, their children nowhere in sight, their fear etched deep. What does that mean? Did they lose the children in the chaos of travel? Were Jemmy and Mandy snatched by forces neither parent could fight? Or is it worse? Did the stones themselves betray them, scattering their family across centuries? Outlander has always warned us that time travel is not safe, that every passage carries a risk, and now the ultimate price may be paid. Imagine Brianna, a mother already scarred by kidnapping and trauma, realizing her children have vanished into time itself. The scream, the despair, the guilt would consume her. Roger, always the protector, always desperate to prove himself worthy of this family, would collapse under the weight of failure. And yet, what if the children are not lost in the stones, but stolen deliberately? What if they were taken as leverage, as tools to force Claire, Jamie, or even Brianna herself into choices they never wanted to make? We know there are powers at play larger than any one family. We know that enemies lurk in shadows, waiting to strike where it hurts the most. Jemmy and Mandy, the living proof of two bloodlines entwined across time, may have become targets, and their disappearance may be no accident at all. And if Brianna and Roger's children are tied into Faith's bloodline, if they are bound by secrets that even their parents do not yet understand, then the stakes are higher than any war. They are not just children. They are keys to the timeline itself, and losing them could mean losing the very future. And then there is William, poor, proud, arrogant William, whose entire life has been defined by lies. He believed himself to be the son of nobility, the heir to privilege, the man above all others. And then the truth came crashing down, that Jamie Fraser was his father, a truth he has never truly accepted, a truth that burned him from the inside. But season 8 may destroy him altogether, because if Faith was real, if Fanny was her daughter, then William will be forced to face the most unthinkable truth, that he has been entangled with his own blood. His shame will be boundless, his fury uncontrollable. And Jamie, the father he never wanted to claim, will be forced to watch his son drown in disgrace. How do you repair that? You don't. William's arc in this final season may not be about redemption. It may be about ruin. And perhaps that is the cruelest twist of all, that even as Jamie prepares for his own death, he must also watch his legacy shatter in front of him, his children broken by truths too heavy to carry. All of these storylines, Rachel's sorrow, Ian's fury, Brianna's terror, Roger's despair, William's disgrace, are not distractions from the central mystery. They are fuel for it. Every broken heart, every stolen child, every forbidden truth circles back to the same question. Who called Claire's name in the trailer, and what does that voice want? Is it Faith, alive but twisted by a life lived without her parents? Is it Henry, a father stepping across centuries to reclaim his daughter? Or is it someone else entirely, someone we cannot yet see, but whose arrival will detonate the story from the inside out? One thing is certain. When that voice is finally revealed, it will not bring peace. It will bring fire. And so I leave you with this. If the return of Faith destroys the family from within, if the arrival of Henry rips history apart, if the children of the Frasers are stolen, shamed, or lost to time, then what is left of the legacy that Claire and Jamie fought for all their lives? Could it be that the greatest twist of Outlander's final season is not survival, but the total collapse of everything the Frasers built? And now, we come to the moment no fan wants to face, the moment the trailer dares to whisper, but refuses to show, Jamie's death. The Battle of King's Mountain is no ordinary battle. It is prophecy carved into the pages of Frank's book, a history that has loomed like a shadow over Jamie Fraser since the very beginning. Brianna, trembling, places the book into her father's hands, and in that instant, Jamie sees his fate in black and white. He is destined to fall. Think about the torment of that moment, the weight of destiny pressing down on him, the knowledge that every kiss with Claire, every word to his children, every laugh shared with Ian could be his last. Jamie Fraser is no coward. He will walk into that battle knowing it could be the end, because to turn away would be to deny his very soul. But here is where Season 8 twists the knife. Because Jamie's death is not just about history, it is about the choice that Claire must make in the ashes of prophecy. We already know her healing powers have been growing stronger, tied to the whitening of her hair, tied to the destiny laid out by Master Raymond and the native shaman. And the trailer teases it. The blue light, that unearthly power that only emerges in the moment between life and death. We all remember the first time she used it, saving the child in Season 2. And now we know this final season is building toward the ultimate act, Claire trying to drag Jamie back from the jaws of death itself. But here is the terror. Outlander has never been a story of miracles without cost. If Claire uses the full force of her power to save Jamie, what will it take from her? Her life? Her children's futures? Her very place in time? Nothing comes free. And in this final season, the cost will be brutal. And it may not stop at Claire, because what if saving Jamie means losing Faith forever? What if the resurrection of her husband requires the sacrifice of the daughter she has just rediscovered? Imagine that agony. The woman who once lost Faith, who carried that grief for decades, finally facing the truth that her daughter lived, only to be forced to let her go again in exchange for Jamie's life. Or worse, what if the price is Brianna or Roger or their children ripped away by time to balance the scales? What if the very act of saving Jamie tears apart the family Claire has fought to protect since the beginning? Outlander does not shy away from cruelty, and this would be the cruelest cut of all, that Claire, with all her power, still cannot save everyone she loves. And yet there is still the unanswered voice. Mrs. Fraser. Who speaks it? And why? If it is Faith, alive and returned, then her arrival collides directly with Jamie's fall. Will Faith see her father die before her eyes? Will she curse her mother for failing her once again, even as she tries to heal Jamie? Or will Faith become the price? The soul who must be surrendered so Jamie can rise again? But what if the voice is Henry, Claire's father, stepping out of the stones with Julia and young William in his arms? His arrival would not just shatter Claire's heart, it would shatter history itself. A father confronting his grown daughter, a man seeing the family he left behind living centuries beyond him. What would he demand? What would he change? And if his presence alters the outcome of the battle, of Jamie's death, of Claire's power, then history itself collapses. Wars may never happen, children may never be born, lives may be erased. The final season may not just be about love and loss, it may be about the annihilation of the entire timeline. And in the middle of it all stands Claire, pulled in every direction, demanded by destiny to make the impossible choice. Save her husband, embrace her parents, protect her children, or hold on to the daughter she thought lost forever. She cannot have them all. Outlander has taught us this truth since the very beginning. Every gift comes with a curse, every joy with unbearable pain. And in Season 8, that truth will break her completely. But perhaps the cruelest twist of all is this. What if Claire succeeds in saving Jamie, only to lose him anyway? What if she brings him back with the blue light, defying prophecy, only for fate to strike again, harder, crueler, ripping him from her arms at the very end? What if the lesson of Outlander's finale is that no one escapes destiny? Not even Claire Beauchamp Randall Fraser, healer, lover, mother, fighter. What if in the final moments of the series, we see Claire, white-haired, blood-stained, clutching Jamie's body once more, knowing she has fought against time itself and lost? Or what if the greater twist is that she succeeds too well? That she saves Jamie, saves Faith, saves her parents, and in doing so rewrites history so drastically that the world she knew, the world of Brianna and Roger, Ian and Rachel, even Scotland itself, ceases to exist? What if the victory costs everything, leaving Claire and Jamie alive but utterly alone in a world that no longer remembers their names? And so, we are left with the most brutal question of all, the one the trailer whispers but will not answer. When the final battle is fought, when the blue light burns, when the voice cries, "Mrs. Fraser," through the chaos, who will Claire choose to save, and who will she let slip into the abyss forever? Will she sacrifice Faith, her daughter reborn, to keep Jamie by her side? Will she turn away from Jamie, letting him die as history demands, in order to embrace her parents one last time? Or will the cost be even higher, the sacrifice of Brianna, of Roger, of the future itself, leaving nothing but two lovers standing alone at the end of time? The trailer dares us to hope, but Outlander has never been about happy endings. It has been about love tested, broken, and reforged in fire. And now, in the final season, it will push that love to the breaking point. So I leave you with this question. When the final episode ends, when the screen fades to black, will Outlander be remembered as the story of survival, or as the story of the greatest love ever told, destroyed by the very destiny it could never escape?